All right, so on this next turn, if I play Onslaught there, I'll get that double, plus double, and then double there, plus the added effect. Okay. Opponent retreated. Hey, welcome back to the video. In this episode, we're gonna be talking about what you can learn from Marvel Snap, part 2. One of my favorite elements of Marvel Snap, and the headline feature that unlocks the hidden game inside of Marvel Snap, is the snap mechanic itself. Since you wager and win cubes every game, snapping allows you to up the ante, so to speak, but each player can only do it once. And depending on when you snap, it could be the difference between winning 2 cubes, winning 4 cubes, or even better, losing 8 cubes. But then it hit me, where have I played this before? One of my favorite games that lets you wager and up the ante on the other players is actually Texas Hold'em Poker. Based on the cards that are on the table, everyone gets to use them to make their best hands, plus the cards you actually have in your current hand combined gives you an opportunity to wager more chips, coins, or personal valuables in favor of upping the ante. Marvel Snap from a 1,000-foot view actually feels a lot like Texas Hold'em to me. So in poker, all players are provided cards that they can basically use to try to make the best hand with. These first cards are publicly available to everybody playing the game. Like in Marvel Snap, these are like the locations. As the turns go, more cards are revealed and turned over one at a time. Like in Marvel Snap, when more locations are added, or for example, sometimes people can play cards that change the locations. It's a mechanic that feels familiar. It's definitely, I would say, like inspired by the feeling that I get when I'm playing Texas Hold'em. I get that same feeling when I'm playing Marvel Snap. Everyone is basically trying to use the cards available, which is known, plus the cards that are in their individual hands, which to other players is the unknown, to make the best hand or to score the most points. And that's kind of where I see Marvel Snap and Texas Hold'em being intertwined. That mechanic, that feature feels and plays very similarly to me. And then of course, you can up the ante when you think that you're going to win, or you can retreat like a coward when you think that you're gonna lose. But here's my favorite and most important similarity between Marvel Snap and Texas Hold'em. Players can pretend that they have strong hands even when they don't. Players can pretend that they have strong plays when really they got a handful of rocks. Bluffing and playing your opponent, playing them in their mind, is the hidden game. It's the whole extra side of Marvel Snap that I just absolutely love. So a smart player can just play this game based on the cards, based on the location, and based on optimizing the value that the two will have when played synergistically together. That's somebody who's playing Marvel Snap based on what they expect, based on where the game is designed. You're not maximizing your potential if you're just playing it that way. When you just play the math, then there are times where mathematically it looks like, or it's probable that you're going to lose. The other opponent has outplayed you mathematically based on their cards at the locations and the modifiers and the synergy between the two. You might be outplayed by 10 points, 8 points, or God knows, 20, 40, 100, 1,000, 10,000. I've seen some ridiculous combinations in Marvel Snap. But if you just played by the numbers, you're probably not winning. You're not playing to your full potential. Oh no, I'm going dark. But to the brave ones out there who like to live on the edge, you can play an alternate version of the game, a hidden version of the game. The reason why we're making this video version of the game. You can play the game inside your opponent's mind. Sometimes these moves that you play in your opponent's mind don't actually give you the best mathematical strategy, but based on what you understand available in the locations and what could be possible based on the cards you've already played, there are opportunities to make moves that bluff your opponent into taking some bait or, retreating altogether, even when you didn't actually have the mathematical advantage or the play advantage based on what was currently played. But you can bluff your opponent into taking the bait or retreating simply because you know how, when, and why to when and where to apply card pressure. And this is where the real fun is had. One of my favorite examples of this is on turn 5, I've been known to play an Iron Man card, but not where I'm actually trying to win. See, Iron Man as a card allows you to double the value of all the power at the current location, but Iron Man himself does not come with any power. So if you have a card of value 5 at the location already, if you play Iron Man, you now have basically the whole location score is 10. If you have 3 cards there already, each scoring 5, and then you play Iron Man as your 4th card, instead of having 15 points, you now have 30 points. So because people know how strong that is, when they see me play an Iron Man, even if it's at a location that I don't care about, they know on turn 6 that they think like there's no way he's gonna play an Iron Man, which is gonna double the power of everything, if he's not gonna follow it up with a whopper of a card. So they're assuming my turn 6 card is gonna go next to Iron Man. So they most likely are gonna go and try to spend their turn 6 energy on defending Iron Man. And I'm gonna backdoor and split my 6 points, maybe 2, 2, and 2, or a 4 and 2, with advantages and math that's already happening based on the mechanics at the other 2 locations to snipe both of those. So while I throw out the decoy Iron Man on a base on the left, a location on the left, my whole plan altogether was actually to take your 6 points away from what I actually wanted, which was those other 2 locations. And that's just it. I completely ignore the mathematical game mechanics that give me the advantage of playing Iron Man somewhere else to play the game outside the game, which is playing against your mind, or getting my opponent to think that I'm making a move, and so they try to counter the move, and then now I make a small play somewhere else. Sometimes near late game when it's close, you can play White Queen, which allows you to kind of see the highest play. I forget exactly how it works. It allows me to see, I think, the turn 5, turn 6 cards of the person who I'm playing against. And then the trick is, when I do this, I'll snap immediately, because the psychology here is I've seen your cards, you can't see my cards, and I'm confident that I'm gonna win, so I'll snap. Even if I have a handful of rocks and I have boo-boo. In a situation like this, I know their cards, they don't know my cards, and they know that I know their cards.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
There's another example. Oh, man. So chunky, man. I gotta lose some weight. Sometimes near late game when it's close, if I don't have anything, but I'm getting a sense that my opponent also doesn't really have anything, I might snap anyway. Because if I can tell that the pressure is even, much like in Texas Hold'em, if you see somebody check and someone check, you raise because you clear out the weak. You see that as an opportunity where they're saying, hey, I don't have much, but I'm still in. That's when you say, well, I've got something, so who wants to play? And it's risky biscuits, but sometimes that also works. And again, that's you playing the psychology, not necessarily you playing the cards, because you haven't played a card in a scenario like this. You're literally just saying, I recognize that there's an opportunity here to stress you, and I'm going to try it. I'm gonna read this, don't mind my face, but it's a long one. When playing Snap this way, I'm using what I know about the game to apply pressure outside of the game and in the mind of the opponent. I'm thinking about the ways that I can use the game itself to create situations that produce a desired response in my opponent. And these moves don't actually speak to good mathematical strategy based on the game mechanics of Marvel Snap, but they do speak to good strategies based on player psychology. Victory! All right, so let's wrap this nugget up with all the ways that you can steal, creatively repurpose from Marvel Snap to include cool ideas in your own games. Lesson 1, Marvel Snap utilizes a repurposed game mechanic a la poker and made it work inside of its own design. You get the benefit of something thrilling and exciting and already proven without the cost of discovering or inventing it yourself. This isn't designing, it's stealing with style. Lesson 2, Marvel Snap is designed in a way that lets player psychology or player behavior become another valuable tool in your strategic success or your mathematical downfall while you're playing the game. So having multiple ways that players can strategize their play in your game helps your game stay fresh and keeps the meta cycle going, especially if some of those ways exist outside of the literal game design mechanics. Round by round keeps people on their toes and mentally engaged while playing. So keep these 2 lessons in mind when designing games of your own. All right, guys, I gotta go play Marvel Snap and recover all those cubes that I lost doing research for this video. But if you like this video, please go ahead and give it a like. Definitely subscribe because more content like this is on the way. I'm back home now. I'm not traveling anymore, so I'm back to my cycle of making a video every week. Maybe this video wasn't for you though, but you do know somebody who does want to learn a little bit more about game design from somebody who gets paid every day to make games and design levels. Maybe you could share the content with them. It's free, and that's all I ask. Till next time, guys.